Hello, everyone. Based on your votes, we're going to be discussing some steps that will help you create your own art style. Now, I'm going to preference this by saying this art style that many people are looking for in the art community is not as cut and dry as it may seem. Art styles are fluid. There's a good chance the way you make art now versus a year from now won't be the same. Thus, this can alter the way your art looks. It's important to realize art as well as the artist can and will change over time. Thus, your art style doesn't need to be a rigid preset of rules you follow. This leads me to my first step. Try different mediums. Now, everyone has their preferences. Some people like working with gouache, others graphite. You might even prefer to use these as digital brushes on Procreate or IBS Paint. Don't limit yourself. Explore even the mediums you don't like. For me, that was painting. Any painting medium I tried in the past, like pre-COVID, was wild. It was wild, okay? Those were dark ages back then. Um, my paintings, my physical paintings especially, were horrid. They were horrid. Nightmare fuel, okay? So, years later, like in 2020 and 2021, when I discovered it again, but digitally, I was kind of scared. Not gonna lie. Um, that brings me to my second point. Make art that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Again, I'll give you more of my personal experience. So, in 2020, during COVID, I noticed how terrible my art looked without line art. And I was just like, I thought I was actually getting decent at art, but look at this. So, I didn't exactly understand the reason why, but I did vaguely realize I was relying too much on my line art. Now, I also started this trying to find a way to quickly draw out my comics, and line art was taking too long. So I was like, you know what? Let me just start painting blobs on there, and I'll start defining my characters that way. Um, this may be obvious to some, but painting isn't necessarily quicker for comics. But I didn't know that then. I was just testing out the waters, working on my forms, my contrast, and my values, everything to better define my art and hopefully draw and paint faster. Now, at first, like I said, it was a little uncomfortable and also looked terrible. But after maybe 5, 10 paintings later, I enjoyed making art this way. And 4 years later, I still like painting. So I paint physically and I paint traditionally, a whole 180 or 360, whichever one you want to call it. At this time, well, not at this time, but before then, I was number 3, studying my favorite artists. Study your favorite artist artwork. It will help. When I was younger, I loved watching speed paints and time lapses. This was like pre-COVID. Um, I didn't realize it then, but I was learning visually how to draw and paint some of the aspects that were my favorite from my favorite artist art styles. So this is a way that you can do in your mind and also on paper. Study what you like about other artist art styles. I was watching Lavender Town, Tammy, I can't say her full name because I don't know how to say it, Kelsey Golden, Drawing with Waffles, and much more. As I got older and I gained more technical skills, I altered what I liked from their art styles, further making these parts my own. 4. Take note at what you gravitate towards. Once you've tried different mediums, pushed yourself out of your comfort zone, and then studied different art styles, it's time to take note of what you enjoyed the most. Maybe you enjoyed making bold line art with a paint marker. Perhaps you liked art pieces that had bright colors and were inspired by anime. Possibly you gravitate towards drawing characters with big eyes, big feet, with lanky legs. This pushes us to our last but not least point number 5, add elements you like to your art. Now, it can be all at once or in different combinations. For me personally, I followed all these steps, not even in this exact order. Over the years, this is what I've come up with. Um, I I painted a lot over the years and tried many different things. You don't have to follow these in this exact order because I didn't. But this is a good basis for how you can discover new things, maybe being even your own art style. So now I'm going to speak more about this piece because it took me 32 hours and I've never spent so long on my art before. Well, not true. I've not in like one piece. I spent that much time, but not in one piece. Usually by now, I would just be like, you know what? This is too much. This is time to quit. Because it is important to also know when you've reached your limit and when something's just not worth it. But for this, I mean, that already happened in the past. Like 2 years ago, this is a redraw. This is a redraw. And my redraw wasn't even, my original wasn't even finished. So I was referencing this redraw from 2022. And I still now struggled so much. I was like, I have so much more to learn in life. So much more to learn if I'm still struggling 2 years later. So that's why I didn't give up on this piece. So I added, and over time I added more characters. Over the span of like a month or two, I added more characters and spots I felt need to be filled. And these are all my characters. Yeah, actually, now I think about it, almost all these characters are at least like 6 or 7 years old. Like I made these in middle school. So these are some old characters. And if you saw their original designs, you'd be like, Kayla, you might as well give these characters different names because they're not even the same person anymore. And I would say, you're right. You're right. But that's not what I did. It's not what I did. If you'd like to know lore about my characters, let me know. But I do make shorts and memes of them. Not these exact characters. I usually pick my characters I actually have a full story for, but I can do one for these two if you like. And next time I can do the other option for the vote, which was the how to create original characters one. But I won't be posting a video next week because I am moving, so I won't be able to. But yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody. And if you've watched to the end, I appreciate you. I mean, because I rarely ever make long form content just because it doesn't do as well as my shorts do. But if more people like you are watching to the end, maybe I'll make long form content more often. Yeah. The characters you see here are King, Elle, Cindy, Caleb, May, Blake, May's little sister. Still don't have a name for her. Seth, Sarah, which Seth and Sarah are twins, in case you were wondering, and I'm drawing them now. So yeah, I'll put names on the screen so you can put faces with names. And also, you probably saw my characters May and King, because I mean they're like my OGs. They're some of my oldest characters ever. So I draw King pretty often. His first name's Tristan, but his last name's King, and I alternate between calling him King or Tristan. So yeah. My character Scoops is based off of Neapolitan ice cream. Not that she needed to know that, but just, in case you're curious about my thoughts of why I designed her. And she wasn't even a person in the beginning. She was like a creature. Yeah, you'll see in this art piece I'll show you. She was a creature. So I never gave her a real name. Her name's still Scoops to this day. Ranting and raving aside, thanks for watching. And until next time, bye guys.